All right, perfect. Thank you guys so much. I want to give, I think everybody should give a round of applause to Ken, to Marty, to Judy. They're putting on an absolutely fabulous event. I'll tell you, I don't know if everybody realizes the amount of value that Marty and Judy have brought so far. I caught myself the whole time just shaking my head, saying, okay, I know what she means by that. I know what she means by that. I know what she means. A lot of you guys don't have teams yet. I know we've got a little bit of a gauge about where everybody stands. How about individual agents? I need everybody to raise your hand. Individual agents with no admin, no assistants, please raise your hand. Okay, fairly good portion. Okay, how about a team? On a team, everybody on a team. So it's about half and half. Okay, so my presentation, just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, is going to hit, there's going to be some parts to it that the individual agent is going to really latch onto, and there's going to be some parts that a team is going to have either gone or already gone through, or they're going to start going through it. My girlfriend last night, she asked me, what are you going to talk about? She said, you're basically like a Cliff Notes version of creating a real estate business. I'll tell you, we've taken our team, I've had my license for 4 years, we've taken our team from basically nothing. I started my team 2 years ago. I was on a team and then branched off, started my own team. We took it from 0 to this year we'll do about 220 transactions or so in about 2 years. It was not easy. A team's not for everybody to build. I'll tell you, there are some people here that after this presentation or after today are going to say a team's just not for me. It's not for everybody. It's not, you don't build a team just to step back and say, all right, you guys go work and I'll collect the checks here on the back end. It doesn't work that way. The way my schedule works every day, I wake up every morning at 4 a.m. I work out at 5. I get to the office at 6. The entire team gets there at 7 a.m. except for the admin. So all the sales agents every morning get there at 7 a.m. We do sales training from 7 to 7:30-ish. And then they hit the phones. They hit the phones, and they hit the phones really hard, and they do it every single day. Everybody's got a job task, and everybody does the same thing every single day. It's not everybody come in, let's kick it around, let's laugh, joke, drink coffee. It's a frat party outside of work, and I know my girlfriend will find jokes in that. We're all good friends outside of our work, but when they come in, it's an absolute business. Marty, I look up to highly after watching our presentation. What she's done is absolutely incredible. Where we go with this, I don't know where it's going to go, but I do know it's growing really fast. And real estate has done a lot for me, for my family. It's taken me a lot of places just in the last 2 years. Does everybody in here love real estate? Yes. Can I get a hand raise for everybody that loves real estate? All right, if you don't like your hand raised, just get out of here, to be honest. If you're wasting your time, I'll tell you, go do something that you enjoy. Every morning when I wake up, I love doing what I do. I absolutely love it. Everybody on my team loves doing what we do. Anybody that I find that I just find that doesn't have a passion for, I'll try to guide them down the right path to go do something else. I'm just a firm believer, and if you're going to do something in life, do something in life that you really enjoy. It'll take you a long way. You brought up Jay Kinder. Does anybody know Josh Altman or of Josh Altman? So last week, it's funny you bring up his name. I haven't been in real estate long, but last week I was on a party bus at 2 a.m. in Dallas with Jay Kinder. She's laughing over here about it. With Jay Kinder and Josh Altman. That's where it's taken me in 2 years. And it's really just from hard work and discipline. And finding good mentors to take me along that path. All right, so how did we get there in the last 2 years? How do we build a team? So everybody, there's no perfect way to build a team. I've seen Judy started it. Marty started it as well. What process there is to build a team. There's no perfect way to do it. I'll tell you, I've ran into so many walls and beat my head against the wall to learn the process. I've made more mistakes, and that's one thing that Ken said. What are you going to do what are you going to talk about? Or I asked Ken, what do you want me to talk about? And he goes, just get up there and bring value. I said, do you want me to pitch RE/MAX? He said, no, don't even mention RE/MAX. So what I want to do is I'll kind of go through what I did and how I bumped my head and how I went down the wrong roads. And what I want to do is keep you guys from going down that path and give you a shortcut to success. So it all starts with you. Individual agents in here, you know how this works. Do I have a Sharpie? Perfect. So this will look familiar to some of you guys. This is your business right now when it's just you. You're running signs, you're going on listing appointments, you're showing property, you're scheduling everything with the inspectors, you're going to the inspections, you're going to the closings, you are answering the calls from the agents that can't get into your listings because they can't figure out the lockbox. Does that sound familiar to everybody? All right, everybody's starting to get it. Okay, perfect. But this is how your business works when it's just you. You do this. You go hell to high waters and you start killing it. You go 3-4 months and you put all these homes under contract, everything's exciting, and then all of a sudden, while you're chasing all that business and getting all that business under contract and handling all of it, then you hit this dip. After you close all those properties, what happens? You say, oh shit, oh shoot, excuse my language. Oh shoot, now I have to go get more. So you go through this valley where you're going to chase more business, and then all of a sudden, you go find it again, and you go through a rally where you close 4 or 5 a month, and then that next month you close 0. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Raise your hand, please. A heck of a lot of you. All right, perfect. All right, so that's how it starts. You're doing anything and everything. The second stage of your business, I kind of like to use the analogy. It's like you have to. You take a cup inside of another cup. You have to get to where you're so busy, and Judy brought this up earlier. You have to get to where you're so busy and your business starts overflowing to where you can't handle it. Then you hire an admin assistant. This is how I did it. Like I said, it's not the perfect way to do it. This is just how I did it. And a lot of it, I actually stumbled into it by accident. But you hire an admin. That admin takes everything off of your plate that's not income generating. What are some of the income generating activities? Can I get a couple of them?
Listing appointments.
Listing appointments. That's one. Buyer appointments. Prospecting.
Negotiating contracts.
Negotiating contracts. All right, that's the 4. Honestly, anything else outside of that, hand it off. Marty, would you agree? The majority of it, just hand it off. And it's hard. A lot of you guys have a personality where you just don't like letting go of things. I'll tell you, and my girlfriend will tell you, I'm the king of delegation. So the more that you can hand off and take off your plate, that's $10 to $20 an hour type activities, do it. Do it. I know it's hard. But answering the call to get an agent into a house because they can't figure out the lockbox, that distracts you. It takes 20 minutes because then you got to call a seller, chase the seller down. They don't answer the phone. You get their voicemail. You're chasing them down. Then you finally get them to call back. Then you call the agent back. How much time did that take in your day? An hour? Sometimes? If you can hire somebody to take those type of activities and leverage yourself where you have extra time in your business, it'll take you a long, long way. So it's you and an admin that handles basically your closing and your listing coordination. That's scheduling pictures, scheduling the courier to go take the lock boxes and signs, answering the calls from agents. Basically, the only thing you need to be doing is those 4 activities. And then the next stage in business, where I took this was, I got to where I couldn't go out and spend 4 days with a buyer. Marty made a perfect point with this. So my team right now, I'll probably go on 3 to 4 listing appointments a day. So times 5, that's 15 to 20 appointments a week. You can sell 10 to 15 listings a week. You absolutely cannot sell 10 to 15 buyers a week. Would anybody agree with that?
Yes.
Listings are huge, huge, huge leverage in your business. So what happens is you start getting all this business and you start getting all these sign calls. If you can go plant 20, 30 signs in the yard, the sign calls, the internet ads, all these buyers start calling you, and you're like, that person would actually buy something, but I don't know if I have time to actually go show them property. Or they don't seem quite serious enough, so I don't feel like following up with them. I've got other appointments going that week. So what you do is you hire a buyer's agent and start leveraging yourself. Give away the buyers. This year, I just looked at our statistics. I've sold right at 102 listings, so I'm still extremely active in the business. 102 listings. I've sold 4 buyers. The only 4 buyers that I've sold this year were buyers that called and said, hey, I want to make an offer on this, and I didn't even have to go show them the property. So start handing the buyers off. Hand the buyers off to where you leverage yourself, where you're focusing solely on listings. And I know I know every one of you in this room says, when someone calls you and they say, hey, I want to go make an offer on this, or hey, can you show me 3 properties, and you say, and you don't want to hand it to one of your team members because it sounds like a really advantageous buyer that's going to be easy. There's no such thing as an easy buyer. No such thing as easy buyer. You go show them 3, 4 properties, what happens? They don't like that one, and they want to go look at 10 to 20 more, so you're stuck with that buyer. Hand them off. So what happens is now, anybody that calls me, I tell them that they're in better hands with my buyer's agent. I haven't sold a buyer property in the last year and a half, is what I basically tell them. You're in better hands with them. They're out showing more property. They know what's on the market more. Let me put you in hands with my partner. Don't ever call one of your buyer's agents your buyer's agent. Call them your partner. That's one tip that I'll give you guys. All right. After that, somebody brought this up earlier. Is it Mike?
Yes.
Mike, you brought up, was it you guys that brought up the inside sales department?
I asked about an ISA.
All right, do you have one?
No, that's next to mine.
All right, does anybody in this room have an inside sales department? Perfect. So if I bring any value to any of you guys, add an inside sales department. Everybody goes out on appointments. Everybody's showing buyers property. Everybody's scheduling things with attorneys. You don't have, the ISA is the lifeblood of your business if you do it right. I'll tell you, don't hire 1, 2. Don't hire 1. Because if you train one and they're skilled and then they quit, what happens? You're SOL. You're stuck. You got no inside salesperson. Then you have to go back in the office. You have to cancel some appointments or not go out and get more appointments. You have to retrain that person. So I would suggest if you're going to hire inside salespeople, hire 2 people, get them in there at 8 a.m. or whatever the first legal time to pick up the phone and call expired for sale by owner. And as soon as that minute hits, y'all call. Not you, that inside salesperson calls. And the key with hiring 2 people, that's a pretty monotonous, it's a stressful, you get 99% no's, you might to get 1 yes. So it's a stressful job. You take a lot of beating having an inside sales department. I would suggest hiring 2 because when 2 people sit in there, they kind of team up and the synergies build, and it's not as much of a beating of just sitting in there. You're taking the beating together. So I'll tell you, if you can hire an inside sales department, hire 2, 3 people at a time, and then just get them going. Calling from, I've got my guys, we've got 4 now that call from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. every single day, and they do 2 call nights a week. All right. Where do you go from there? So now you've got you handling all the listings, you've got your buyers, your head buyer's agent, you've got your inside sales department, your administrator is still doing your closing coordination and your listing coordination. This person is going to start getting busy. As you start getting a certain amount of listings and a certain amount of buyer leads.
I've got a question for you on the calling. How do you get around the no call where they can come after you because they're on the no call list, you're making cold calls, and next thing you do is get a letter from the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, and you're screwed.
My team probably makes 4,000 to 5,000 calls a week, and I've never been turned in. Not ever. And we use Vulcan Speed Dialer and Red X, just to give you guys an idea, and they pre-screen the do not call list and the blacklist. So, I mean, it's call at your own risk if you're going to call those people, but we've never been turned in.
Okay.
So don't let that scare you from calling. Call them anyways. You have to be turned in 3 times. Okay.
Must have a deep pocket.
Yeah. Once you get turned in twice, then start worrying about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Head buyer's agent. So you've got your head buyer's agent. They're going to start getting busy, and then you can go into what's called the showing assistant model if you get to a point that your team gets that big. Or you can just hire multiple buyer's agents. Do y'all have multiple buyer's agents? 3 buyer's agents. Okay. Showing assistant model is another model to where people pay someone a salary to where they go open doors and show property, and then that head buyer's agent, the person that's actually talking and working with the clients to negotiate this contract. Okay. All right. Now you get to the point to where you're so busy, you're handling all the listings, you've got your head buyer's agents, you've got your inside sales departments, you've got your multiple buyer's agents or your showing assistants. Now your admin is overloaded. Your admin can't handle all of the listing coordination of scheduling the pictures, getting the feedback to the clients, getting the signs and everything ordered, finding out the flood insurance, working, making sure all the paperwork's right, and then also handling all the closing. So you split that job. So now you've got, and I would say if you've got someone that's been with you for a while, it's a great admin. So you guys' admin was, all right.
Just
The more skilled job out of the two is going to be what? Anybody? There's more skill on the closing side than it is on the listing side. The listing side is more just scheduling pictures and coordinating things. On the closing side, set things up with attorney. Our closing coordinator negotiates. She's licensed. She negotiates the repairs. So basically, my agents, once they ratify a contract, they hand it over and they're done. All they do is show up at the closing table with the gift basket that's got my name and face all over it, and that's basically all they do. So they've got it pretty good. My girlfriend says they've actually got it too good. So they've got it awesome. All right, once you get past that point, you've got, does anybody have a goal in here of stepping completely out of their business? 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. It's nice when you get to that point. I'm not to that point, but it will be nice when you get to a point where you can go on vacation and your team's still running. And you're also not worried about going on listing appointments. You've got people that can fill your shoes and go on listing appointments for you. So you handle the listings and don't step out of your business. And I repeat, do not step out of your business too early. Stay in your business as long as you can, because once you pull yourself out, you'd be surprised at how much money you pull off the table by sending someone in your place. So then you hire a listing specialist for someone to go in your place. Last stage, once you get way down the road, you hire an operations manager to where they basically manage your business, the payroll, the managerial jobs, the training, the hiring, those type jobs. When you get to a certain point in your business where you can completely step out of the listings and you can step out of pretty much the operations, you're just a visionary. And that's when you've got a solid business. Marty, that's a hard position to get to, is it not? Not many people get to that spot right there. You're a warrior if you get to that point. Okay, all right, a couple critical numbers that I feel like everybody needs to track. And I've learned this the hard way. Real estate is fun, and the amount of money that you can make in real estate, buys nice cars, you can go to nice places, big rings, big houses. Has anybody had a year where they've done an awesome job and sold a ton of homes, and then they said, okay, I'm going to do better next year, and they sold twice as many, and they're like, where the hell did all that money go? And they sold twice as many homes, but they made the same amount of money. Anybody had that? That comes down to really tracking your numbers. One thing that you can track is how much vendor money you're getting, and I'm going to hit on this one in a minute. Your net profit is the number one critical number that you guys need to be tracking, how much net profit you have. If you don't have budgets, you need to make budgets. I know everybody in every seminar you've ever been to has told you guys to make a budget and stick to your budget and meet every week or at least twice a month and go through your budget. Make sure you're on track. How many calls your ISAs are making, your inside salespeople. We track how many emails they take on a daily basis, and then we just put them into a nurture campaign to where they're getting the clients are getting dripped on home evaluations about every 2 months. How many appointments they're setting, how many nurtures, and what we call a nurture is, so I know nobody's got the inside salespeople, but when you do get inside salespeople, how many people are they finding that are going to sell the home within the next 12 months? That's really important to you, because those are the absolute hottest leads you can get. And if you've got people that are cold calling them, and if they're, let's say they're cold calling through neighborhoods or they're old expireds, you're not getting too much competition on the old expireds if they're thinking about selling it within the next 12 months, and you're really not getting much competition if you're calling these people and you're just cold calling through neighborhoods and you find out that they're going to sell within the next 12 months. Your only job is to just follow up with them. And I know that sounds easy, but all of you guys know, y'all have seen people, you've talked to people that said they're going to sell their house in the next 12 months, and you've seen that sign sitting in their front yard. Has anybody seen that?
Yeah, what does the nurture process look like?
So we've got a drip campaign. Ours is really simple. We've got a drip campaign to where it depends on their situation. So if they've got their house rented, they go into our rental campaign. If it's an expired listing, it goes into our expired campaign. Whenever they tell you, let's say they tell you they want to sell in 12 months. Whatever time they tell you, cut it in half and call them in 6 months. That's how simple it is. How many listing appointments we set, how many we go on, how many we actually sell. Highly suggest adding this, and I hated this. I did not want to know what my client, we were selling homes so fast, and I will be the first to admit that the service kind of fell off as we got and grew pretty fast. I didn't want to know what the clients were saying, but once we started this, we sent out a survey, monkey survey after every closing that tells us what the feedback is on every position in the business. So rate your listing coordinator from 1 to 10 in their service, rate your agent, rate your closing coordinator. Is there anything that you could change about your process? And you're going to find out pretty quick what the knots in your business are, what the hiccups are in your business. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's better to, wouldn't you rather find out from that one transaction that you messed up than to find out 15 transactions later because someone actually had the guts to tell you? Yeah? Okay, perfect. Referral income. How much referral income are you getting? This is something that we've started doing the last 6 months. When I sit down with someone to do a listing presentation and I'm filling out the paperwork, always find out where those people are moving and put it on we have a contact sheet that has all their information for the listing coordinator. Put where the client is moving. So that means when you get a contract that comes in, you are asking them before they even ratify a contract, where are you going? Are y'all buying a house there? Do I need to set you up with an agent? I'm going to network with 1,000 of the top best agents in the country. Let me set you up with an agent there. Y'all are leaving, and I promise you, everybody in here knows as well, they've left money on the table from not referring a client out of state. Raise your hands. Whole room, pretty much. All right. What affects the company dollar? Vendor money. You've got all the expenses, and you're creating all these transactions, and basically you're handing it over to a closing attorney or a title company. You're giving free business to the home inspector, because I'm pretty sure if you sell a lot of buyers, you're probably giving to the same home inspectors the majority of the time. You're giving it to the same lenders the majority of the time, and I don't know about y'all, but they probably don't share in your marketing expenses?
My lender does.
A little.
No, each of them about $1,000 a month.
Okay, so they do. So those guys are doing it right. If y'all have all these marketing expenses and you're selling all these homes, you're basically giving them free business, and they're not sharing in any of your marketing expenses. Every state is different, but I'll tell you, we get a substantial amount of money from all of our vendors that help contribute and help cover our marketing expenses. The bigger of a marketing expense you can get, the more what you can generate. The more leads, the more business that you guys can generate. So I've got a list, and I'll send everybody a copy of this slideshow because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through it. How far am I through it?
About 35.
Oh, perfect. All right, commission percentage. Where can you go from 6%? Everybody, especially the people in here that do a lot of business with friends and family and get a lot of referrals that way, what do they always ask for?
Discount.
Every one of them asks for a discount. And it's hard. It's hard. You've got a relationship with them, but every time you give away a full percent, that's a lot of money that you guys are leaving on the table. We left, I'll tell you, just to be completely honest with you, I didn't learn this lesson until about 12 months ago. We left almost $200,000 on the table last year. That's a gut check when I figured that out. So what we do now, we actually, we start at 7%. And then if they want to work us down from there, I try to train my agents to hold tight at 7%, but they charge 7% and a $4.99 transaction fee. And I know some of you guys in here, I'm seeing some of the faces are saying y'all are overcharging people for the transactions, but y'all don't know the value that we bring on our appointments. We pay for pre-inspections that Marty brought up earlier. We pay for 3D photography, drone videos. Let's see, what else do we pay for? A staging consultant to come into your house. So yeah, I mean, some of these listings are costing us almost $1,000 to $1,500 just to get them on the market. And there's no guarantee that that listing is going to sell. So we we aren't the cheapest person in town. We're not the most expensive person in Charleston either. But that's what we start at, and if we reduce from there, teach your agents to reduce in percentages of 0.25% or a 0.5%. Everybody wants to drop from 6 to what? 5. 6 to 5. Every one of y'all wants to drop from 6 to 5. I'll teach you, this is going to put one, I just saved everybody in here $10,000 next year, I promise you that. Go down in 0.25% percentage points or 0.5%. If some of these people, they'll say, oh, they'll feel comfortable that they got a deal. Some people just will not pay your price. And they'll say, well, that person will do this and that person will do this. If you give them something, give them 0.25%. That is a lot of money in the long run. It's harder for, everybody has this mentality that, okay, it's easy for me to give up money that's not in my pocket yet, but if you start thinking about it as I got to write you a check for that $4,000 that I just gave you, your perspective is going to change pretty quick.
If you get 7, you co-op at 50%?
Can't discuss that.
3. No, we pay out 3. So there's some where we're making 4 and a $4.99 transaction. Just to be completely transparent, not most of them we don't quite get 7%, but our average percentage is actually, it's jump, big time.
So you always co-op at 3?
Always go at 3. Our market, pretty standard in our market is 2.5. How is y'all's here?
There is no standard.
There,
There is no standard. We can't have this conversation.
okay, all right, let's get that
It's
conversation.
standard, but you can talk about it.
All right, or not standard, what's common that you see fairly often? All right, transaction fees, let's get through that one. Minimum commissions, our agents, I don't know as far as how that works in y'all's market, but we charge a minimum commission. Minimum agent commission, if you're a team leader and you're starting to let your agents take 2 or 2.5%, it's sucking money out of your bottom dollar. So it's really important that you train your agents how to get 3%. Another thing you can do is just raise your average price point. If you can just start fishing in a bigger pond. So whatever you're doing right now, let's say your average price point is $250. Whatever daily routines you're doing, whatever you're doing on a daily basis to attract $250,000 buyers and sellers, you need to make a shift and start throwing that fishing hook into a bigger pond. Start targeting higher end buyers and sellers. If you've got an inside sales department, take their shift, put it on the higher end homes. If they're calling in that market, they're generating those types of buyers and sellers in that type of market. It'll make a huge difference to your bottom line. Cut the fat. Make sure that you guys are managing your return on investment on these deals. On your, like let's say, or people have buyer lead platforms in here. 1, 2, people spending money on Zillow, Realtor.com. Okay. Make sure you give it some time. Don't cut it after 30 days if you haven't done a transaction, but if you get 90 days down the road and you don't have any promising transactions, you need to be tweaking what you're doing and make a shift. Always be tracking what you're spending because you can spend a lot of money pretty quick. I see somebody tapping somebody's shoulder right here on what they need to cut out of their business. All right, we talked about referral fees, they're huge. One thing that you guys can do, especially if, I don't know if you guys are originally from here or wherever you're from, but as you start growing a business and people start seeing that you're doing really well, it doesn't matter where you are, you can still help those people. Let's say you're from Michigan and you live in DC. Husband got a job in the military, you came here, or with the government, you moved to DC. Well, you still got a big following back in Michigan. What are you doing to try to put on your social media that you can still help them? You'd be blown away how many people just inbox me, hey Caleb, I got a question about where do I even get started buying a house? Well, boom, that's a lead for me. It's something that I can just refer to a good agent in that market, and that's extra income that you can make. I'm trying to see what this is. Agent splits. How do you pay your agents? If you overpay them, you're robbing the company. If you've got a team, and everybody that's got a team understands the expenses that are involved in it. People that own teams do not get rich. It doesn't work that way. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen. If you underpay them, they'll end up just leaving. So it's got to be something that's fair. If you've got agents that are making over $200,000 a year, then great for them. You cannot, Marty brought this up, you can't get jealous because you've got agents that are making a good income. They're killing it. They're killing it for you. It's a win-win for everybody. You have to come up with a split structure that's fair and it's reasonable. This is how ours is set up. It's 50% on sphere deals, 40% on lead. Oh, she's 40% on lead generate, on internet lead, company generate.